Right. And that's it, we're away again. Episode 3.
Episode 3. Hey, I bet you didn't think it was going to take as long as this.
Yeah, don't know, I had an idea like.
So where did we get?
So hospital radio, right?
Yeah.
Were you doing hospital radio while you were with Mum?
Yes, I was.
Right, okay. So you'll have been like in your 30s then, really?
Yeah, it would have been, yeah.
Right, okay. So I'm just thinking, so when you met Mum, where were you working at the time?
I was working at the Mecca. I was still doing
Right,
shopping.
okay.
But when I met your mum and we decided to get married, like,
Yeah.
I decided to chuck the Mecca
Right.
because I didn't think that it was appropriate working a nightclub and with your mum. But the interesting aspect, the guy that took over from me at the Mecca went on to produce Top of the Pops
Oh, yeah, sure.
for the BBC, and his name was Chris Cowie.
Mm.
And prior to him, I got heavily, well, I wouldn't know it wasn't heavily involved, but I did get involved with a guy that used to be a teacher at Riot Grammar School. And, now, what the heck was his name? And he went on to produce The Tube for Tyne's Television. And it happened to be this Chris Cowie's teacher.
Yeah.
Crikey. What was his name now? Which I thought was dead good because it meant that I was being, slowly but surely I was getting involved with some big people in the business. Crikey. What was his name? But he was a teacher, but he went on to be at the Tyne's Television.
John Plill did the Mecca as well, didn't he?
Oh, John, that's where I met John,
Yeah.
when we worked at the Mecca.
But did he do a different night to you or something?
No, there was two departments in the Mecca.
Yeah.
There was the Mecca. There was a little night spot upstairs called the Fusion. No, it was called Fusion was up by the.
Yeah, that was in Homeside.
Yeah, it was up by Park Lane. No, not Fusion.
Park Lane, rather. Yeah.
Upstairs was Tiffany's, and downstairs was the Mecca, So there was two parts of the Mecca.
Yeah.
What was it called downstairs? The Mecca. And like he did upstairs, I did out. And we also had a girl as well. So there was three of us. And the girl was Marge. And prior to all this happening, there used to be a guy that worked downstairs who was, crikey. And he got sacked because he was caught drinking.
Right.
And John Plill was the next in line. So John went downstairs to do the big night.
Yeah.
And it was too big for him, he just couldn't handle it. And he asked to be relieved to go back upstairs, up to Tiffany's with Marge. And they asked me to go downstairs, and that's where I went out. And the management said to me, "Are you okay working the big spot?" Because it was big, don't forget, 3,500 people. Bloody hell, it was big, man, And I think the good part about it was the guy that got sacked a minute's notice. We became very good friends. And having said that, he was a bus driver. I forget half the names, man. But the funny part, Marge Bowman, they called her upstairs, when John got the job downstairs, I worked directly alongside Marge. And I was asked, when this lad got sacked, they asked me if I wanted to work. So I did. And the funny part, I was a bit older than everybody else.
Yeah.
I think the thing was, my attitude was, I'd already learned my trade with the over 60 clubs, you know. But I mean, I must admit, Marge was brilliant to work with, because I used to take the water out of Marge, and mind. And like, she always took it in good faith, but the crowd loved it. They loved me taking the pee out of bloody Marge, you know. And then, of course, I was asked to go downstairs to do the big one. Well, that's when I got to know Glenn's Magical Roundabout. I knew all the lads in the band. And
Is that what they were called?
yeah, Glenn's Magical Roundabout.
Glenn's Magical Roundabout.
Yeah. And all the lads I used to...
So why did they have a band in the Mecca?
It was just the time.
Yeah, but what did they do?
Pop music. And Glenn was great. He was
What I'm saying is, right, if like you're playing records, so when did they come in?
Yeah, well, I'm playing records for an hour.
Yeah.
Then Glenn's Magical Roundabout come on for an hour.
Oh, right.
And then I'd come back on again for an hour.
Yeah.
And then they'd come back on. And then I would always do the last hour.
Right, okay.
Are you with me? And that's how it worked. But they were a very, very, very good band. You know. And we used to do... In fact, I'll tell you a little story. They used to do a lot of sort of semi-jazz, but it was the music of that era. Oh, what can I think of, man? You know, something blues band or something daft like that. But it was all the rage. It was. I'm trying to think of what was it? The bands have to, honestly, kind of forget half the bands. But that's what you used to do. And I said to us,
the Doors or something.
well, it was even sort of bluesy. Oh, I don't know. Think of. I'm trying to think of what they played. There was one in particular.
So did that band have to learn new songs every week?
No, but they did learn new songs certainly every month, because they were trying to keep up with the charts.
Yeah.
So they did a lot of chart stuff, you know. And I remember I said to Glenn, Glenn, I'm in a word with you, you know. I says, you know, we had a revolving stage. And I said to Glenn, I says, hey Glenn, I said, I've got an idea. Yeah, I says, you know when you play your last number coming off? He says, that's not the thing.
No, that's mine.
You play the last number coming off. Yeah. I says, well, why don't I'll come on and I'll put that record on. And vice versa. When I'm coming off, if I know what you're going to play, I'll play that as my last record. And as the stage is revolving, you come around playing it.
Yeah.
So you took over. Yeah. And we got that off to a fine art. We did, mind. And I'm trying to think of the tunes. Some of the numbers we were playing, and we just rehearsed them. So as he came on playing what I was playing, coming off. And vice versa.
So you're on one half of the stage and the band's on the other?
Yeah.
Getting loads of text messages in.
And I'm trying to think of the music, man. I mean, there was some brilliant stuff knocking around. There were some brilliant stuff, and to be quite honest, I cannot remember what the hell they were. But we had it off to a fine art. And as I say, and I mean, to be quite honest, Farron, son, women, Jesus, women, honest to God. And like, that's the reason why I packed in, because I met your mum. And in all honesty, I mean, I was a pig and virgin there. And I just, they must have thought I was a bit queer. Because, like, you know, I just wasn't interested in women. Well, I'm not saying I wasn't interested, it's just that, you know, it never happened.
Yeah.
And to be a fella working at being a disc jockey in a place like that, bloody hell, a mecca.
Yeah. So when you went to the Isle of Man and you met Mum, like who did you go with and why? Was it just a holiday?
It was a holiday, yeah.
Right,
yeah.
okay.
There was about 7 of us.
Was it the lads from
St Luke's?
St Luke's?
Yeah, St Luke's.
What was that, a boys' club? Or like
It was like a boys' club, aye,
like
yeah.
the Scouts, but not the Scouts.
Yeah, it wasn't the Scouts, it was a boys' club at St Luke's. There was Peter Hutch, then his brother Ronnie Hutch, Hutchinson by the way, and Ronnie was my best man. Then there was Colin Childs, then there was, I think it was Davy Gardner, I think there was about 7 of us all told. And I met your mum. And I once remember Colin Childs, he was so naive, it was a bit of a laugh really. And he used to think that any woman that was looking at him was the I am thing, like, you know. And he met one lass, he made a date with her and she didn't turn up. And then he met another lass and she didn't turn up. And all of us were saying, Colin, man, for crying out loud, man, didn't take it serious. And on this occasion he met another lass and I was sat with him and I was trying to eye out the equation.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself, Colin, you've got no chance, man. Got no chance. Oh, I think she likes me. And I think, I says, well, look, I'll tell you what we'll do. Seriously, this is what happened. I says, I'll tell you what we'll do, Colin. I says, what we'll do, we'll chop them up, right? Yeah, mate, we'll get a tight drinks. And I says, if everything's okay, we'll swap. And then you've got your bird. Right.
Okay.
So we'll just swap. You just take your time now. And good idea, Kev. Good idea. So we decided we would do that. So I'm seeing we goes over to chop these 2 birds up, and the bastard bloody chickened out. And there's me like a daft prat went over to chop these birds up, right? One was called Olive, and the other was called Avril. And you know what happened to the Avril bit, don't you?
I seem to remember my mum saying that one of your friends went out with one of her friends for quite a while or something, and they had a kid together or something. I'm sure she said that one of her friends got pregnant.
Well, I didn't know that.
One of her, I'm sure Mum said one of her friends that time in the Isle of Wight got pregnant.
Isle of Man.
Sorry, the Isle of Man.
Well, Well, if there was anybody that ever got pregnant, it was your mum, and we're now looking at the bloody offspring.
Yeah, I'm sure she said that, like, there was one of them came over to visit, like, quite a bit.
Well, I know that Ronnie, which was my best man, he was absolutely obsessed with somebody he met. But it never turned out to be anything.
Yeah.
Never turned out to be anything.
I'm sure Mum said she had a kid.
And the only other person that might have been, could have been Ronnie's brother, Peter. But sadly, Peter turned out to be Algie. And he's dead and gone now.
Right, okay.
Dead and gone, Peter. But I wasn't aware. But I remember the very first date your mum and I went on over in the Isle of Man was stock car race meeting.
That's romantic.
It was. But your man had never been to anywhere like that. And then of course the thing was your mum had now who come first? I'm not too sure whether I went over the island first. But I used to work with a lad called John Hoggett, and he was married at the time, and he says, we're going up to Scotland, holiday. Do you fancy coming with us, and we'll drop you off at the ferry, and you can go over on the ferry to Ireland.
Alright, okay.
No drink, anyone?
Yeah, I'm going. Bottle there. Go and park your bum if you like.
Just bring the whole bottle in. And I went over to Ireland, and I think it wasn't until I got over to Ireland I'm thinking, hey, hang on, Kev, this is looking like the real thing. This I never realised how serious it was, you know. And then when I had...
Where did Mum live then? Was it still Drummer Crow or wherever
No,
else?
aye, something like that. Aye, she lived out in the sticks. Hey God, that's not all of mine, is it?
Yeah,
Yeah, I'll be getting talked about next.
you certainly will. Hi.
But Hackadooey. That was where it was, where they lived. Hackadooey.
Right, okay.
And I mean, thinking when she finally came over to England, and I'm thinking, bloody hell, this is getting serious, this. And to be quite honest, it got to a point where I loved it a bit. I mean, your man stayed with a little old lady.
So how long had you been seeing Mum before she moved to England?
I think about 6 months.
Yeah.
That's all.
So you know when my grandparent, like when Grandma and Grandad moved to Pallion, right? Didn't you say once that people used to buy houses in pairs?
No, it was me. It was your Grandma Hartley who bought a cottage after the shop. Not a cottage, a house. And it just so happened it was a two.
Right, okay.
So she bought the house, but she also bought the upstairs flat.
Right.
And the upstairs flat was rented off your mum, off your grandma,
Right, okay.
by Molly and Cease.
Right.
And as luck would have it, I mean, we hadn't been married very long. They decided to move out and buy the road, which, let's face it, to be quite honest, was unbelievable. To think that out in the middle of nowhere got a flat.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then what happened, your grandma...
I mean, we drove around there recently, didn't we?
Your grandma Hartley...
But it was after we went to Whitburn.
Oh yeah,
you know, on the
yeah.
beach.
Yes,
We had a little drive around Pallion. So,
yeah. Oh yeah.
Quite strange, isn't it?
No.
Oh, it's changed all right. And especially now, the new bridge going across.
I tell you what's weird. It's quite kind of not like, well, I was going to say sad, but it's like the old cobbled alley I remember is now tarmac.
Yeah.
But the weird kind of thing is that there's bits where the tarmac is peeling up, and you can see the cobbles underneath.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what.
Which is a shame, really, because they're kind of covering up really what I consider to be my childhood, really. You know what I mean?
Well, I'll tell you what. At the end was the station, Pallion Station. Now I'm not talking in terms of the metro.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
Pallion.
I remember.
You used to see the old steam trains, the Royal Mail van. The Royal Mail van at Pallion, sitting there.
There was a train station right at the end of that street.
There used to be, aye.
Yeah.
And that, to this day, runs all the way up to Durham. And it's a footpath now, all the way up there. Now, the metro runs on most of it, but just unbelievable. And they're talking in terms of extending that now, you know, to Washington via, you know, mind it, 2030. I thought, we're all up here.
That's the thing, there isn't really a train line that goes from Sunderland to Durham, really, is it?
Aye, there was a train line.
It used to be, there's not now. There you go.
But we had endless of fun. And I mean, one of my favourite sister-in-laws, and even Wendy will tell you, our Wendy.
Yeah.
Well, here we had some fun. I'll tell you a story. You love this. You love this. Wendy met Robert. Sadly, Robert's dead and gone. He died when he was only 30 when he died. But he was a gem. And this was Wendy's husband at the time. They got married, and it was only literally weeks prior that they found out he had cancer. so they weren't married long. But on this particular occasion, we decided to go to the Free State. Now when I say the Free State, this is Southern Ireland.
Yeah, I told you this the other day, didn't I?
The Southern Ireland. So, and the thing is, in Southern Ireland, you've never been to Southern Ireland before, the people